What if I told you some of the most terrifying moments in human history didn't happen in wars? They happened in laboratories. Places built for discovery became scenes of suffering, secrecy, and deadly mistakes. Science has given us life-saving medicine, electricity, technology beyond imagination. But sometimes it went too far, too fast, too secret, too dangerous. Tonight, we uncovered the most dangerous scientific experiments ever conducted. Experiments that went wrong, experiments on humans, secret government projects, and the terrifying question, could something like this happen again? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear is real. The Demon Core Incident. In the final days of World War II, scientists raced to unlock the power of the atom. At Los Alamos National Laboratory, they were working with a small sphere of plutonium. It didn't look dangerous. It fit in the palm of a hand. But inside, it held unimaginable energy. They called it the Demon Core. The goal was simple: measure how close it was to becoming critical. Critical meaning a nuclear chain reaction begins. But the method was terrifying. Scientists manually moved reflective materials around the core using simple tools like screwdrivers. No robots, no safety barriers, just human hands and deadly radiation. One day, physicist Harry Daghlian made a mistake. A block slipped. The core went supercritical. A blue flash filled the room. It lasted only seconds, but it was enough. He absorbed a fatal dose of radiation. He died weeks later. But the nightmare wasn't over. Months later, another scientist, Louis Slotin, repeated the experiment, this time using two hemispheres to contain the core, holding them apart with a screwdriver. One slip, and the reaction would begin. And then it happened. The screwdriver slipped. The core snapped shut. A flash of blue light again. Slotin quickly separated it, saving others in the room. But he paid the price. He died days later. 2 lives lost because of a few seconds of error. That core was never used again. Instead, it was melted down. But its story remains, a reminder that in science, even one mistake can be deadly. Chernobyl disaster. In 1986, in Soviet Ukraine, a routine safety test turned into one of the worst disasters in human history. The goal was to test what happens if power fails. Could the reactor still cool itself? To simulate this, engineers disabled critical safety systems. Yes, they turned off protections. The reactor became unstable. Power levels dropped too low, then suddenly surged. The system was out of control. Operators panicked. They tried to shut it down, but it was too late. At 1:23 a.m., explosion. The reactor core was exposed. Radioactive material shot into the atmosphere. Fires burned for days. The nearby city of Pripyat was evacuated. People left everything behind: homes, toys, memories, still frozen in time today. Radiation spread across Europe. Thousands were affected, all because of one experiment that should never have been conducted that way. Tuskegee Syphilis Study. In 1932, in the United States, a study began. It involved hundreds of African American men. They were told they were receiving free medical care, but the truth was far darker. Doctors wanted to study what happens when syphilis is left untreated. Even when treatment became available, they didn't give it. They watched, they recorded, they waited. Men suffered for decades without knowing the truth. Families were affected, lives were destroyed. The study continued for 40 years. 40 years before it was exposed. It shocked the world, not because it failed, but because it was allowed to continue. Stanford Prison Experiment. In 1971, psychologist Philip Zimbardo conducted a study. He turned a university basement into a prison. Students were randomly assigned roles, guards or prisoners. At first, it was just an experiment, but within days, things changed. Guards became aggressive, prisoners became submissive, some broke down emotionally. The environment became toxic, cruel, dangerous. The experiment was supposed to last 2 weeks. It ended in 6 days because it went too far. It revealed something disturbing. Power can corrupt anyone, even ordinary people. MK Ultra. During the Cold War, fear ruled the world. The CIA wanted control over the human mind, so they launched MK Ultra, a top-secret program. Their goal, mind control. They experimented with drugs like LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation. But here's the terrifying part. Many subjects didn't know. They were tested without consent. Some suffered permanent damage. Records were destroyed, truth buried. But fragments remain, enough to show how far governments were willing to go. Unit 731. During World War II, in secret facilities, experiments were conducted on prisoners, diseases were tested, extreme conditions were imposed, biological weapons were developed. Thousands died, for data, for war, for science without limits. It remains one of the darkest chapters in human history. After these events, the world changed. New rules were created to protect human life. The Nuremberg Code was established. It made one thing clear: consent is essential. Then came the Declaration of Helsinki, setting global ethical standards. Today, experiments must be approved, reviewed, monitored. Human safety comes first. At least, that's the goal. The truth is uncomfortable. Science has evolved, but risk remains. Today, we are experimenting with artificial intelligence, genetic editing like CRISPR, advanced biotechnology. The stakes are higher than ever. We are no longer just studying the world, we are rewriting it. So the question is, have we learned enough? Or are we still capable of repeating the same mistakes? Science is a tool. It can heal or destroy. It depends on who controls it and how far they're willing to go. Because history has shown us the most dangerous experiments are not the ones that fail, but the ones that should never have been attempted. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and join us for more mind-blowing truths. There are still experiments happening today that the world doesn't know about.